Yo, what's good? Welcome back to Sonic Colors Ultimate. It's been a hot minute. Actually, been a really long time. The last time I recorded this game, it was before the release of Sonic Frontiers. It was before the release of Sonic Prime. And just to kind of hammer it home, I've got a new microphone, a PS5, which is what we're actually playing this on now. So hopefully this will be the best PlayStation experience we can get of Sonic Colors Ultimate. But just a lot has changed. A lot has changed. And I kind of want to go over, I think it's time to cut the Kanye talk. Post-downfall, the Taylor Swift trash talking that I did in previous episodes, all this unrelated Sonic stuff, and get down to brass tacks, talk about Sonic as a franchise now in a post-Frontiers era. Because I think realistically, that is probably the most interesting conversation we can have right now related to Sonic. Not only about the future of Sonic the Hedgehog, but also just generally what Sonic Frontiers did for the franchise, what it did right, what it did wrong. We're not going to go into too much detail, because I do want to do a Sonic Frontiers playthrough, so I'm not trying to blow my load, before even getting to the game itself. But I'm going to use this here. I think that'll work out loverly. But yeah, so Sonic Frontiers, there's a lot to talk about, and I am just gonna pretend that never happened. That was high-key embarrassing. Never happened. I did this platforming normally. But yeah, Sonic Frontiers. Let's talk about it. It's a little late, so apologies for being all over the place, but in my opinion, very, very, very good Sonic game. I had a blast with it. I think it was probably the best way they could have realistically handled Sonic in an open world setting. I know a lot of people had Sonic Utopia on the mind, but, something about that did not sit right with me. A lot of Sonic fan games that tackled Sonic in an open world setting did not do it effectively, because they were more proof of concepts, more tech demos and everything. There wasn't a realistic fan game that really showed a fun, creative gameplay loop that would propel Sonic into an open world era. It didn't seem realistic to me, which is why I was kind of skeptical going into Frontiers, because I didn't really know what it would be able to accomplish in an open world setting. But man, it worked out well. It worked out really well, I think. I think a lot of the the collectible aspect of it, which is hit or miss for some people, I understand. I think that was really the best way they could have gone, because if they tried to go for, like, a more, linear open world thing, it just wouldn't have worked out. You know what I'm saying? Does that make any sense? By linear open world, I realize those are two. That was a lovely frame drop game. What I mean by linear open world is kind of what Sonic Utopia did, where it was less of an open world and more of like a level. So it was like an open world level. And I really don't think they could have pulled that off super well, because people would just rush through the game, people would complain that it was too short, and then I think there would have been too many issues with that, realistically, to make it work well. But yeah, I don't know. I think Frontiers is the best they could have done. I think it was really solid. I don't want to go into too much detail again, but yeah, let's talk about what I think it means for the franchise moving forward. I think we're gonna have a really hard time going back to games like this. Linear Sonic experiences, completely linear, no open world elements. I just realistically don't see it happening. I think that Sonic Frontiers is kind of the format that worked, the structure that we're going to keep going with from this point onwards. And if you don't like it, I don't know, complain about it or something on Twitter. Not my problem. Not my problem. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be fun, I think. I think it'll be fun going forward, seeing what it does for the franchise. I think what I have a little bit more to talk about, because, in the moment when you're not playing a game, it's a little hard for me personally, to go into depth about things that I like, dislike about it. But like a TV show, that's hot. That's free real estate, And I have a lot to say about Sonic Prime, which is new fun fancy TV show that got released on Netflix for Sonic. I realize I'm a little bit late to all of this information because I've been MIA while all of this Sonic stuff was going down, because I was kind of enjoying the time that I had away from school. And I really didn't want to record YouTube content. It was just not priority numero uno. It was very much not what I was interested in. But I did consume all that Sonic content in that time that I was away. And Sonic Prime, really rough. I mean, like, I think it's one of the better Sonic shows we've gotten. Way better than shows like Sad AM, in my opinion. Okay, guys. Unpopular opinion. Sad AM, low-key doo-doo dog shit. Not unpopular opinion. Sonic Underground, doo-doo dog shit. Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, kinda doo-doo dog shit. I don't think a lot of Sonic TV shows have really hit the mark on making a fun Sonic animated series. And I think Sonic Prime, outside of like Sonic X, is probably the closest we've gotten to that ever, like, period. Sonic X was a close second, but like Sonic Prime really captured what I think Sonic in a TV setting, at least action-wise, should be. And I think it had a lot of interesting concepts, but with a massive B, it was kind of rough. I didn't super enjoy the characterization of a majority of the characters. I think Tails got it really good. Really, really good. There's like this not alter ego, like evil version of Tails, essentially. And that was graphically interesting. There's a lot to talk about within Carnival Night Zone about why Colors Ultimate is, man, I don't know, just the way it is. But that was an interesting graphical glitch. You can see Sonic pop in, which is so lovely. But yeah, anyways, as I was saying, there's this evil version of Tails. I think that characterization of him is honestly probably the best characterization of Tails that we've gotten next to Frontiers. And God, there's some stuff to go into there, but I think I'm gonna go into that in just a little bit. But yeah, no, good characterization of Tails. Really shit characterization of Knuckles, in my opinion. And unique characterization of Sonic. I think the reason I didn't like the characterization of Knuckles, there's nothing inherently wrong with Knuckles on his own. It's the way he interacts with Sonic and the way Sonic interacts with him. And because 90% of the interactions in the show are how characters... I am so dumb. Because of the way that characters are, shown off in the show, the way their characters are shown in the show is 90% of the time through Sonic's interactions with them, you really only get that shit characterization of Knuckles where he's talking to Sonic. Like, I don't like the way that they made Sonic and Knuckles. It's okay, guys. I'm just a little rusty because I was playing Frontiers, alright? Don't laugh at me too much. But yeah, no, Knuckles and Sonic are way too aggressive to each other. It doesn't feel like this characterization they went with in Frontiers, which I think was honestly the best way to go about it, where they're rivals, but also having gay sex on the side, like, it was perfect. It was perfect in Frontiers. It was this, like, brotherly love, but also they're not brothers, so a lot of people thought it was really homosexual. Whatever, you get the point, right? Like, it just felt very loving, very brotherly, but also still rivalry. Still felt like a rivalry, and it still captured, what Sonic and Knuckles are. Sonic Prime really didn't do that. How was I supposed to see that, bro? That camera angle was so trash. Don't talk to me, Tails. Don't say, almost made it! I don't care, bro. Shut up. Shut up. No. You mean nothing to me. You mean absolutely nothing to me. But yeah, no, I didn't like that characterization. It wasn't particularly good. And I think, I don't know, Rouge is alright. She's kind of inconsistent. I don't know. I don't feel like there's any real clear, confident characterization of Rouge? Yeah, I just don't know. Something about it, Rouge didn't stand out to me. I really didn't like her all that much. I'm gonna avoid that one because I'm really not trying to deal with the worst camera angle known to man, but that's fine. Yeah, man, I don't know. It wasn't my cup of tea. It wasn't my cup of tea entirely, and I think that going forward, it could be more interesting. But as it is right now, Sonic Prime is just like, it's a little rough. It's whatever. Not really my thing. Very good for children, probably. But yeah. Didn't super love the characterization of Sonic. He's kind of a hapless oaf. Is that the right way of saying that? He doesn't care about people that much. I think he's kind of a dickhead. But not like in the endearing way. And I'm fine with Sonic having character flaws. But like, not like that, bruh. Not like that. Don't make him a dickhead. Like, he doesn't seem like a nice guy. He is all the worst character traits that Sonic has been personified with over the years, but like to 11. And I think there's a really cool way they could go with this. I like their vision, but right now, me no likey. That was, dude. I'm really going back to. I think I have brain damage of some kind. I think mentally I am just not here right now. I'm so busy mentally going down the Sonic pipeline that I've fallen into this weird mix of me being stupid and also really stupid. But like, I don't think I've mentioned this part. I think I've been really dumb. There we go. Beautiful. It really was not that hard. Oh, okay, whatever. But yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see. Sonic Prime's going places. Sonic Frontiers probably had the best characterization of any of the Sonic characters that we've seen in Lord knows how long. Just because, God, Ian Flynn is a godsend. And I know that Ian Flynn probably only dealt with the localization. I think that's where he really shined. I don't think he wrote the game itself, but he did deal with the localization aspects of it, to my knowledge. He fucking nailed it. He nailed it on the head, 100%. I love everything about the characters in that game. There's a lot of issues people have with the way things are presented, but like, generally, I think everybody can agree that the characterization is pretty damn good. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at when it comes to Sonic content. I'm back on that Sonic grind, which is why I'm actually here playing this again. Even though I did two videos of it and then just like disappeared off the face of the planet and started playing a bunch of other random shit. But yeah, back on the Sonic grind. I'm hoping to replay every single Boost Formula Sonic game, and then Frontiers, and then a bunch of other random stuff. I want to finish all my classic playthroughs. That's the dream right now. That's the huge dream, because I've started compiling everything on my channel. I realize this isn't very like Sonic related, and low-key dates the video by a wide margin, but I don't care. I'm doing this because it's fun and I wanted to, so leave me alone. End of story. Anyways, I have started categorizing everything playlist-wise on my channel into series playthroughs, just because I think it's a more fun way of chronologically showing off my adventures. I think it's neat. So I have like a Sonic Mega Mix playlist. I have a Super Mario Mega Mix playlist. I have all this crazy shit. Zelda Mega Mix playlist. I think that's what I've got. And then an Indie Mega Mix playlist. That's right. Gosh, I'm so cool. So I have like 4 playlists on my channel, which low-key makes me feel so happy. I love the fact that I just don't have that many playlists to worry about. There's something about it's nice. I think, honestly, making everything look pretty is more difficult, and getting everything chronologically settled in like one big playlist is way more difficult. But I also think it just is low-key more fun. This is Hover. I don't think we've seen this one yet. It's just the Lightspeed Dash. This is one of the few instances where I'll agree with Colors haters and say, yeah, this was a little silly. Sonic doesn't have the Lightspeed Dash by default. You actually do have to get that through the Wisp colors. Please, please, brain work. Thank you. Oh my god, okay. But yeah, I think it's a little silly that you have to use Wisp colors to get a move that Sonic has always had access to. Low-key, I just wish it was the way it was in Generations, where some things you could Lightspeed Dash on, some things you just couldn't. This Okay. As a baby toddler playing Sonic Colors for the first time on Wii, you can suck my dick, bruh. That was unnecessary. But as a baby toddler playing through Sonic Colors for the first time on Wii, this was like a really cool 3D section for me. This game really didn't have that many 3D sections, and I really didn't like playing through Sonic Unleashed because it just wasn't that fun to play through on Wii. I'm talking about Sonic Unleashed, not the real Sonic Unleashed, okay? Calm your tits, guys. But yeah, I really enjoyed coming back to this specific level so that I could go through this 3D section, because it was the one I saw the least throughout most of my playthroughs. Because low-key, the rest of this level is just whatever. Like, it's not that special. I think Starlight Carnival is super fun. It's probably one of my favorite zones aesthetically. But I don't go back to play all the levels very often. I usually play the first level so I can get all the spectacle. And then I call it a day, because I don't super love the way this, like, Starlight Carnival is designed in comparison to the rest of the zones. Not really throwing shade, it's still designed well, but I don't like Cube that much. I think he's kind of a low-key a pace breaker. I know a lot of people talk about Wisps in general being pace breakers, and I think most of them aren't pace breakers. Cube is the only exception, because Cube is literally designed to be a pace breaker. So, like, no shot. Cube is the problem. If you have a problem with Wisp being pace breaking, just say you don't like Cube, alright? Because you'd be valid for that. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't think the cubes are very pace breaking. But, I mean, Hover's fine. He's just the Lightspeed Dash, so it's just a lot of Lightspeed Dash things, which is okay. But, like, it's nothing super interesting that we haven't seen in other Sonic games before. You know, there's only so much you can do with hovering and then Lightspeed dashing. And then Cube is just boring, like I said, so you know how it is. I just don't think the Wisp usage in this area is super fun, or the level design is inherently a great time. So that's kind of my whole take on Starlight Carnival. Very pretty. I think the first level is super fun. I think level design-wise, it's not as fun as other areas in this game can be, just because it doesn't have the Wisps to back it up, and it doesn't have a whole lot outside of QB shit, because I did not mean to do that. That was really weird. Okay. I just don't think it has a lot outside of QB shit. I don't know. This is probably the biggest zone that does the QB shit people don't like. Where they're like, uh-oh, why is everything just cubes? Why is everything? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, sure. Please tell me you know what I'm talking about so I don't look like a dumbass. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Oh, thank you. I'll be here all night. I know what I'm talking about. I love Sonic. I'm the best Sonic YouTube creator ever to be made. I play so many Sonic games so well. Okay, next level. But, I mean, Starlight Carnival's fine. Very pretty. Probably one of my favorite zones just on its visuals alone. It does suffer the most from that bloom effect people really, really hate. Because I guess we're being scorched by 1,000 suns, everybody's like, I don't know, the bloom is up to 1 million. But I don't know. Whatever. I don't think it's that bad. It's the worst here. I don't think it's that bad in general. Actually, the more I think about it, Tropical Resort had it pretty bad. I think it still has it worse, but Tropical Resort still has it pretty bad. Also, if you hear me drinking water, guys, I have a New Year's resolution. You know what it is? I'm becoming a health guru. I'm becoming the next Andrew Tate, who's going to lead young men to the next, I don't know, the future of being manly. Playing Sonic games and drinking plenty of water during recordings. Because guess what? I'm going to take a third sip. I've had 2 sips. I'm going to take a third one. Because the cutscene is so boring. There we go. Oh, delectable. Anyways. Yeah, I'm just drinking water. One of my New Year's resolutions is drinking like 2 cups of water a day. I realize it's pretty low. And a lot of people drink way more than that. But I think 2's solid. 2's pretty solid. Especially for recording, when you're recording stuff. Those are my thoughts. Something I found out recently, because I was watching a playthrough of Sonic Colors Ultimate specifically, these cutscenes were actually not, like, pre-rendered. It was completely possible for them to go back into the game and upscale and, like, redo these cutscenes to make them better. They just didn't. They just didn't. They just didn't do that. They just did, like, AI upscale, whatever this is, this horrible, disgusting, terrible way of making the cutscenes look quote-unquote better. They could have avoided this. So I actually have zero remorse for this cutscenes. One of the worst parts of this entire thing. Yeah, zero remorse. Do not care. These are horrible. Water, lovely water. Yeah, these are the worst. These suck. These are terrible. And while we're on the topic of bosses, I guess, I did find out just recently that they actually make a lot of the, like, the Sweet Sweet Mountain boss, specifically, is way fucking easier on this version of the game than it is on any other version of the game. Sonic's depressed. I love that. He's so silly when he's sad. But it's way easier on this version of the game because you have the perfect homing attack and you can get boost that way. So you can just keep homing attacking onto those things and boosting into them. It just makes life so much easier. I actually really like that addition. Honestly, because... okay, the bosses in this game always drag, honestly. They're fun the first time, but they are the worst part of this game. But the addition of the perfect homing attack makes it so much easier to deal with these bosses in a timely manner, and I really appreciate that. So, massive win for Sonic Colors Ultimate, honestly. If it didn't lag like that every 5 seconds, it would honestly be such a huge win, and I would keep playing this game all the time. But I think I'm just gonna start dolphining. Is that the best way of saying that? I think I'm just gonna start using Dolphin for replays of Sonic Colors, honestly. Cause like okay, this is technically supposed to be the definitive version of the game. So yeah, I want to use it, man. Okay, I've had enough. You're done. You're done. But I want to use it. I want to use this version of the game whenever I replay it. But a lot of these things just make it so unwieldy. My biggest issue is the homing attack issues. Where if you homing attack into an enemy, sometimes it'll just straight up, like, lag your game to shit and back. Like, it's so glaring, and I hate it. I hate it. Because if there were frame drops, if it sucked because there were frame drops, life would go on. I would live. I would live if it was just like a few frame drops here and there when things got a little busy on screen. But no, if it's during a homing attack, which fucks up the entire homing attack chain and makes the easiest shit way more difficult than it needs to be, it's so hard to actually sit down and, like, try to defend using this as a good experience for replaying the game. If you've never played Colors, low-key, just emulate it. Just emulate it. I hate to say that. And, like, there's a reason that this game gave people such a scared impression of, or such a bad impression of what Sonic Frontiers could possibly be. Because after they talked up this huge game of just, like, putting more time into their games, they released this shit. And it's like, come on, man. Like, fundamentally, I'm still having a good time. Because it's Sonic Colors. You, like, come on. How can you not like Sonic Colors? It's so cute and so fun and so sweet. And, like, it has that arcadey element and it's fun to play. I love water. I love water. Fun to play with, not to eat. But I don't know. There's just too much. There's too much wrong with it to make it a more worthwhile experience than Dolphin. Speaking of fun to play with, not to eat, I listened to this really cool podcast called Planet Money. And I love Planet Money. It's NPR Planet Money. So good, bro. NPR is generally a banger news source in the first place, but they have some of the coolest podcasts known to man. Planet Money is my favorite, personally. And it's just a bunch of economic topics that are discussed in a fun view. And I've been listening to a few. Been listening to this one about tax evasion. Yes, tax evasion. I now know how to effectively not evade taxes, avoid taxes. They are different things. I know it doesn't sound like they are, but avoiding taxes means avoiding paying taxes that you don't need to. Evading taxes means not paying taxes that you do. There you go. There's your economic lesson for the day. In your cool Sonic playthrough. But I watched this one about patents, because it was talking about Uggs, the shoes, which is actually a generic term for my viewers in Australia. You'll know this. All 0 of you. You'll know this. Uggs is a generic term for the type of shoes that Uggs, the brand, sells in the US. And, yeah, I mean, that's really cool. There were some patent issues that were happening, some trademark issues, where this guy was selling Ugg shoes with the name Uggs from Australia to the United States, and Uggs started cracking down on them because they were using the name Uggs, and they kind of fought back and ended up losing the battle, sadly. But through this, I learned that you can trademark a lot of really interesting things. You can trademark names, you can trademark slogans. All of this is very easy, like, everybody knows that. But you can also trademark unique smells. Very infrequently this happens, but you can trademark unique smells. And the reason I said this, I said, speaking of fun to play with, not to eat, the smell of Play-Doh, the nasty, gross-ass smell of Play-Doh, is in fact trademarked. So, in case you ever smell Play-Doh and you're like, dude, this smells horrible, guess what? That's trademarked. And if you're getting a Play-Doh ripoff, it's not going to smell like Play-Doh. It can't smell like Play-Doh. It has to smell worse or better. But it cannot smell the same as Play-Doh. So, realistically, I think it's going to be insanely difficult to make something smell worse than Play-Doh.
Like, let's be real.
Let's be real. Like, Play-Doh smells horrible, but yeah, you can trademark smells. You can trademark slogans, all that stuff. But smells is the interesting one. And also, something really interesting that I learned is that because we've completed Starlight Carnival, this episode's done. And we now have access to all these crazy areas. And I think next time, I'm gonna go to... I don't like Asteroid Coaster that much. I could get that out of the way, but I have the most to shit talk about with Aquarium Park. So I think I'm gonna go to Aquarium Park. But anyways, that's for next time. I'll see y'all then, and we'll start shit talking Sonic Colors Ultimate even more. My favorite. Alright, I'll catch y'all later. Bye.